Political apathy is starting to become a problem. This last election season, it was very frustrating for a lot of Americans. Both sides became polarized and many of them attacked each other. But a lot of people in the younger generation, they just feel like participating and understanding current events and casting a ballot isn't going to make a difference because the powers that be are just going to do what they've always done. And this is a problem because freedom is not free. Now personally, I have voted and stay informed about current events. But today I'm going to talk about the problem of political apathy. I'm going to give a very simple solution to this problem. And I'm going to talk about the benefits of accepting this solution and the consequences of failure to take action. Now let's talk about the problem. Most Americans couldn't name either of their state senators. Esmeralda Jensen Roberts, a reporter with the Boston Globe, of March 29th of 2015, wrote an article in the Boston Globe explaining that 77% of likely voters couldn't name either one of their state senators. This means that people are voting platform instead of understanding the individuals, and this is a problem. Because if we do not know the specific person that is in the office that is there to serve our needs, then we can't possibly know if they're doing their job or not if we don't even know who they are. Apathy and not caring is a problem. Philip Bump, a correspondent with the Washington Post, on November 16th of 2016, right after the election, he reported in the Washington Post the voter turnout. And while millions of people did vote, only 58.1% of eligible voters actually cast their ballots. People have the ability, and they're not acting on it. And this is showing just what the apathy is. The government isn't being held accountable for fraud, waste, and abuse. David Lee, a reporter with the New York Post, wrote January 10th of 2017, explained outrageous ways the government wasted our money. Notably, he used several examples. I'll just put in the most notable ones for you. The government spent $300,000 to study, if you put boys and girls in a room, which gender is most likely to play with Barbie dolls. And unsurprising to all of us, they discovered that girls play with Barbies and boys do not. The government also spent, and this is almost unbelievable, as egregious as it is, $1.5 million to study what happens when you turn on a treadmill and throw fish onto the treadmill to measure the rate that they flop. So political apathy allows this is just the tip of the iceberg. We are all members of the federal government as military members, and we've all witnessed firsthand accounts of wasteful tax dollars. So I'm talking about the problem. Let's talk about a very simple solution. It's a three-part solution. First of all, we need to know who our representatives are. They all have official government websites. Second, we need to be able to check what they say to us to make sure they're telling us the truth. And finally, we have a website called fvap.gov that is specifically designed for service members like ourselves to register to vote and request absentee ballots. So the first part of the solution is using the official government websites. For example, I'm going to use house.gov. Within 5 minutes, I was able to find my personal representative and see his page where he stands on every issue. Now, I've done this several years ago, and he has emailed me. Now, my personal representative, being from Nebraska's 1st District, is Jeff Fortenberry, and he sent me the Fort Report, which he also published on his website on April 17th, that's 4 days ago, 2017, and he explained his position. It was titled The Road to Damascus. He explained his position on Syria and how he endorses what the president is currently doing and a solution he thinks that we should by making interim zones for the refugee crisis. But that's just an example. Every single congressman has their own page where they stand on the issues. By just investing like 5 minutes of your time, you can find it for yourself, and then you can sign up so they can continuously emailing you moving forward. And they also will provide you ways to contact them so you can voice your concerns, because that is their job, to represent you and your concerns. Now, the second part of the solution is to independently corroborate what they're saying because we know the government lies to us. It is pretty much, we've lost a lot of trust in the media, we've lost trust in the government, but the internet's our friend. There is so much access to information. The key is just to being able to have a filter and being skeptical of the information we get. So don't just stick to one news site, but put a little bit of your time each week going over the week in current events. And then the last part is fvap.gov. Within 20 minutes of going to that website, it was very self-explanatory. I was able to print out my request for my absentee ballot and registration to vote, and I was also able to print out an envelope with the free postage to mail it in, and 15 of the minutes was just trying to figure out how to get the printer to print envelopes. So now I'm talking about a very simple solution. Let's talk about the consequences. Well, benefits, good consequences, and bad consequences if we fail to take action. So Adam Pierce, writing for the New York Times on September 13th, 2016, wrote an article in the New York Times explaining there's a correlation. He was trying to ask, why don't voters vote? Why don't they participate? Why are we only at 58%? And he was explaining that there is a positive correlation between success and education in those who vote. So if anything, by taking action and staying informed of the current events, perhaps you will have success. But also, we'll be able to hold that government accountability in check and preserve this democracy. If we fail to take action, who knows what kind of spending the government is going to be able to do? Who knows what kind of corruption can expand when they know that they're protected in their seats? So today, I've talked about the problem of political apathy, a very simple 3-part solution you can take to fix it. And finally, I talk about the benefits and consequences of taking action or failing to take action. Now, I'm not asking you to stand on a soapbox and argue with people or preach anything. But as war fighters, we know that freedom was paid for from the blood of our brothers and sisters that wore the uniform that came before us. And we need to honor their sacrifice by preserving this democracy. And what it takes is a little bit of effort, maybe 20 minutes a week to stay informed, spend 5 minutes a year getting that absentee ballot, and just staying informed on the issues when you cast that ballot. It takes a little bit of work, but the benefits far outweigh the costs. So this next election is coming up in 2018, the midterms. I plan on voting, and I'm not asking you to vote for any particular party or one way or another. I'm just asking that you inform yourself and vote in your own interests. That way we can preserve our democracies. So join me. Thank you.